Hi, welcome to Progressive Short Takes. Um, I'm your host, Joe Firestone. In this short take, I want to address the question of can progressives get any significant changes but from a Biden administration? In other words, if Joe Biden is successful, will we be able to make any gains? That question is a very central one right now, getting a lot of debate. In the Crystal Ball, Sager and Jetty show just recently, they addressed a slightly different question, but their answer seemed to be that it was unlikely that it would be possible for progressives to get any significant changes out of a Biden administration. And the way Crystal expressed it, was as follows. Well, during the primary campaign, the Democratic Party was successful by telling progressives to shove it. It currently looks like they're going to be successful during the election campaign by telling progressives to shove it. And apart from that, since the 1990s, a primary strategy of the Democratic Party has been to tell progressives to shove it. And they seem to be still reasonably satisfied with that as a strategy. So it's very likely they'll pursue the same strategy inside of a Biden administration when we have one. That more or less is the way Crystal put it. And Sagar seemed to agree, on most essentials. Now, they both thought that there were some possibilities, if it were possible for progressives to develop alliances with people in opposition to the Biden administration on certain critical issues, it might be possible to make some gains there. But the general outlook seemed to be that the climate would not be favorable for progressives to get any concessions out of the administration. I believe that they're probably not right about this. And the reason why I think they're not right about this is because they're failing to consider the changes in the environment that are likely to happen. To some degree, they're happening right now, and happening very rapidly. The climate crisis, of course, is a very, very key thing, but also the damage to the economy caused by COVID-19 is extreme, and normal neoliberal formulas for handling that kind of situation are not going to work. But also, by the time we get into 2021, and by the time that Biden actually takes over, if he actually can take over, we will then have a situation where really pretty soon it's going to be another election year. There'll be 2021 to do things in. And then in 2022, people will be worried about the election of 2022. Now, right now, there's a lot of energy that's driving the possibility of a Democratic win due to anti-Trump feelings. People are wanting to vote against Donald Trump. And now, of course, with the death, of our BG, there is still even more of a drive in many quarters to vote against Donald Trump and vote against a Republican Senate. and vote, okay, in any way possible to recoup the losses that was sustained in the Supreme Court by taking retaliatory action if the Democrats can gain control of the Senate, okay, and the presidency, okay, as well. So that's driving people now. It's going to drive turnout now. It's probably going to drive a lot of early voter turnout because people are wanting to miss the scenario where mail-in votes are condemned, okay, as illegitimate by Trump, okay, and people who are trying to uphold his claims that the coming election is going to be, okay, an illegitimate election. Those claims will be less convincing the smaller the percentage of the mail-in votes and the larger the percentage of the early votes and the votes that actually occur on the day of. So these are considerations for people, and this is going to drive a substantial early vote, especially in areas where Trump stands to lose right now. But what would be driving a 2022 vote? What can drive a 2022 vote for the Democrats is the continuing climate crisis and the need to pass all the programs that need to be passed in order to meet the climate crisis and the necessary transition away from fossil fuels. That crisis is going to get even more urgent, even more important to meet, even more important to get a handle on. Time is growing short. The external environment, in other words, is favorable to progressives and to a progressive agenda. It is not favorable to a neoliberal agenda. In their commentary, I don't think that Kristol and Sager took account of that. They only took account of history. They only took account of the way the Democrats have treated progressives for so long. But even in this election in 2020, more progressives will be elected to the squad. And there will be more progressive campaigns in 2022 as well, even in the face of the opposition from the establishment Democrats. There will be more because the needs will be more urgent and more important. And so that's what you have to take account of too. And you have to say, okay, you have to observe that the real issues that will be coming up in 2021 and 2022 are more favorable to a progressive agenda than they are to a neoliberal agenda. But neoliberalism will not be able to handle or deliver the necessary changes. And more people, therefore, are going to gravitate towards a progressive agenda and towards politicians who are progressive. So that's what I think. I'll be back shortly with another progressive short take.